today we're going to be working with arrays. So let's bring a problem up. Let's try 3 times 5. And we know 3 times 5 can be also said as 3 groups of 5, or 3 sets of 5, or 3 multiplied by 5. So we know 3 times 5 as an equation equals 15, because we have 3 groups of 5. Alright, if we're going to use this as an array, arrays, we talk about rows and columns. You need to know that a row goes horizontally, and in each horizontal, just like, say, a movie theater, you have rows of seats, so we know rows go horizontal. 1, 2 rows. Well, with columns, they go vertically, and it matters how many columns you have. In this case, I like to think of columns as the architectural columns. In Greece or ancient times, they had columns, or in some houses, you might still have columns. And these columns go vertically. So here's one column, you might have more than one column, depends, and they go vertically, 1 and 2. So let's go back to our problem. Let's get a new page. Let's try 3 times 5 equals 15 again. So now we know that we have rows and columns. Well, the first number in our multiplication problem is always our amount of rows. Our second number in our multiplication problem is called our columns. And we can remember this by RC Cola. And that's an old-time cola that some of your parents might know about. So it's just a soda that they used to drink and still sold today. So to remember rows and columns, you remember RC Cola. Alright, so we have rows and columns. So let's take our rows first, and we'll do 3 rows of 5. So 1 row of 5, like so, and then we'll do 2 rows of 5, and then lastly the 3rd row of 5. And as you can see, we have 1, 2, 3 rows with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns. And that matches perfectly with our rows and columns in our multiplication problem. And that's basically how you figure out an array with rows and columns.